She has the star-studded panel, former Revenue Secretary Tarun Bajaj, former Defence Secretary Mr. Aramane, and the former CBIC Chief and Senior Advisor at KPMG, Vivek Johri. Shereen, over to you.
Thanks very much, guys. The budget editors are here to decode what Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is likely to deliver. And without further ado, let me get straight into the big issue that the market is hoping for and certainly waiting to hear the FM speak about. The former Revenue Secretary here with us, Mr. Bajaj, let me start by asking you, the big chatter that Digi Yatra for foreign investors and domestic investors, frictionless entry, that is what Nilesh Shah just told us on the channel. Do you expect any change at all on LTCG, any change at all from a FPI perspective? Are you working with that assumption, expectation at all?
I would say the way the numbers are coming for the current year, I would have my doubts if there's going to be any changes in LTCG and STCG. But you never know. The budget always gives surprises to the market. But my own view is that it is very unlikely that there would be any changes. And I think the changes having been made last year or last to last year. So I think stability is the theme of this government. So they would like it to continue for a few years. So I'll be very doubtful if they do.
You'll be surprised if at all it happens. So what do you believe the government could do by way of sending out a message to both FDI as well as FPI?
So I would say the first thing is we really need to analyze why the FDI and FPI thing is happening. The FPIs are taking money out. Though there is a good gross FDI, I think it is about $60 billion, but the net FDI is much lower. It has to happen that after a long period of time when the FDI was coming, some money would start going out. The Indian industrialists will also start investing outside. So I would say even if these little changes are made, which the market is anticipating or the Bombay is expecting that to happen, it may not change the way FDI and FPI will behave in the times to come. So the dollar is actually becoming stronger as compared to the Indian rupee. So it doesn't make sense for the FPIs to make investments. As soon as they make their investment, the very next year their investment goes down. So I would say it would need a different kind of a mindset rather than
any short-term fix, short-term fix at this point in time. Mr. Johri, you know, the big story that's playing out on our screens right now is the crash in commodities that we've seen overnight. Silver, gold, all of the stocks reacting here in India as well. You know, do you believe that there could be the possibility of a higher duty, import duty imposition on gold and silver? Would it make sense at this point in time?
It's quite tempting to do that. But there's a downside to increasing duties on gold and silver. And in the past, our experience has been that if you increase duties beyond a certain threshold, they always lead to more smuggling and more illegal, sort of illicit imports. So if at all there is an increase, I'm not putting any bets on it, but if at all there's an increase, it will be moderate.
Moderate? Only
from the point of view of raising revenue.
Will disinvestment be revived? That's my hunch. And as I said, the evidence shows that it's unlikely to, given that we've seen that it's been virtually dead over the last few years. Do you expect a revival on disinvestment, Mr. Bajaj?
So I'll answer that question by saying that I hope you're right. But the way things have happened in the past, I don't think it'll be a big bang. We are expecting IDBI to happen. I think I read it in the papers yesterday that would happen. And some small bits might happen here and there. But I don't expect that what was announced earlier, that one bank or two banks will go. I think it'll be slow and
steady. There is consensus, though, on just one item, that this is going to be a year for defense allocation, Mr. Aramane, to go up, if not by 15%, perhaps even higher, 20 to 25%. And that's the number that you're working with as well, correct?
Yes. In fact, defense capability improvement is most important at this juncture because of the regional conflict and also global situation. So capex in defense is likely to go up. Whether it's 15% or 20% will solely depend on the readiness of the department and ministry to place the orders and also to take the delivery. The increases will be contingent upon the previous orders which were placed and which are ready to be delivered. So all in all, there is a scope for at least 15 to 20% increase because of huge orders placed over last 3 years, and they coming to maturity and fruition in the current year is likely to increase the budget by at least.
As well as the emergency procurement.
Yeah, the second important aspect is the emergency procurement. 2 tranches of emergency procurement are right now going on. If both of them mature into delivery or at least to come to certain stage, I am hopeful that the capex will increase. Apart from capex, there will be huge increase in the non-salary revenue expenditure, which will basically help the services to shore up their inventories.
Right.
And other equipment.
Okay, so 15 to 20% higher allocation for defense. But, you know, gentlemen, I want to understand from you, because both these individuals here have been part of the budget-making process till very recently. Part B is likely to get more focus and attention is what we're given to understand. What would you read into that, Mr. Bajaj?
So, to answer your question very curtly, I would say I'd wait for another hour to see what it contains, rather than speculating on national media as to what it would contain.
But I'm not asking what it would contain. I'm saying, what do you believe it signals the decision to focus more on Part B or give Part B as much focus as Part A?
The Part B always had more focus than Part A. I've done Part B and Part A separately, and I would say that most of the people, and especially your audience, would be more interested in Part B than Part A. But here I would say maybe the government wants to give a longer vision or medium-term vision, because there's always been this speculation by the foreign investors that there is no stability in tax systems in the country, and every now and then we get a surprise. So maybe something to that extent would happen, because I also see that the government has done enough on taxes. The GST thing has happened. On the personal income tax, it has happened. On corporate tax, it's already happened. And customs, Mr. Johri is here, and he will bear me out that this time we are expecting a lot to happen on the customs side.
Correct.
So I would say that is it.
Mr. Johri, what would you read into that? And customs, I think, again, there's consensus that import duty rationalization is going to be the big one. And you've told me as well, you expect, we've gone from what, 23 to 8, and now you expect 8 to 4 in terms of tariff lines.
So yes, it's quite fair to assume that there would be a big push on customs rate rationalization, like we did for GST. And I expect the number of rates to come down at least to 4. But more, other than that, I also expect Part B to delve deeper into ease of doing business. Because there's a lot of concern. You talked about FDI and all that. There's a lot of concern about uncertainty in the current tax regime, and how investigations get taken up, interpretative issues get converted into disputes. So I think there will be some vision that we laid out on how to deal with that. Maybe some immediate measures, and maybe some medium-term measures, administrative and legal, on how we can deal better with disputes and closing disputes and so on.
Mr. Bajaj, before I hand it back to the markets, because the markets are also fairly volatile, the Nifty now moving into the green, as has the Sensex. But how much fiscal space, how much fiscal room does the finance minister have to maneuver? I mean, everybody has put out a wish list on what they want, but at the end of the day, you've got to balance all of those out. How much fiscal space does she have, you think?
So what I would say is that over the past few years, the revenues showed a very good buoyancy, which has not been the case this year, especially after the relief given both on personal income tax and GST. So in that sense, the fiscal space would not be as much as it has been in the past. So I would say that the budget has been going up by almost 7, 8, 9% in terms of the total budget size. At the most, we can expect a similar increase in the current year, because there would also be a base effect, because the GST changes came up in September, October. Till September, we may not have that much of a rise in GST. So I would say that the space would definitely be lesser than what it has been in the past, looking at the trends that we have seen in the current year.
So that is the budget setup as we count down to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaraman's ninth budget. Limited space, but do expect a lot as far as import rate rationalization is concerned, and perhaps even a longer-term roadmap that the government may hold out as far as taxes are concerned. And defense, that's the big story there, that the defense sector allocation is going to be significantly higher. GST collections in 1.93 lakh crore rupees for January 2026. I remember we every month we would chat about GST collections. Are you missing doing that?
No, I'm missing teasing you because you would every time ask me, when will you cross 1 lakh? And I said, I'll stop that question.
We're almost at 2 lakh crore rupees now as far as GST collections are concerned. But Prashant, back to you guys. We'll have, of course, our budget editors with us through the course of the day. Back to you for the market.
Absolutely.